Thank you very much for coming here today, and I'd like to thank the WE board directors that are standing with me. I'm here today to show support as a Member of Parliament for Churchill, also a leadership candidate for the NDP, for the call of the WE board in furthering its work in the courts to bring justice to Canadian farmers, to Canadian prairie farmers, and ensure that this government follow not just legislation but also the court decision that states that Western farmers ought to have a vote in the future of the wheat board. To me, this government has time and time again shown contempt on this issue. First, it was for the CWB plebiscite. Then it was for debate in the House, ramming debate through the House at an unprecedented level, and most recently, contempt for the courts in failing to respect what the latest decision of the courts. This arrogant, undemocratic approach to the future of the Canadian Wheat Board indicates a complete lack of respect to Western farmers and Western Canadians in general. And I would say that this arrogance is reflective of days gone past, such as the Mulroney era, where Western Canadians were treated to the short end of the stick, were treated once again with disrespect by a government that claimed to represent them. We saw that didn't bode so well for them politically in the end. And my message to Stephen Harper is, respect the legislation, respect the courts, listen to Western farmers, because you have a duty to do so in respecting Western Canadians. And if not, you are making yourself and your government vulnerable to politically in Western Canada, as you seek to neglect the voices of the very people you've been sent to Ottawa to represent. So I would say that in addition to that, I mean, the failure of the government to respect the court decision is highly is unacceptable given the economic impact that it will have on our province here in Manitoba. I represent Churchill, where 200 jobs have been said that will be lost as a result of the impact on the port, and indirect jobs. And of course, we know here in Winnipeg, standing in front of the offices, that hundreds of jobs are slated to possibly be gone, leaving a gaping hole in the corporate center of Winnipeg, but also leading to the loss of family-sustaining jobs here in Manitoba. The reverberations across the prairies will be equally catastrophic. We'll see people in their livelihoods impacted on the farm. Perhaps the next generation choosing to leave when they may in fact have been considering a future in farming. Seeing the impact on rural communities as we see an impact on short line rail and the kind of infrastructure that the Wheat Board has supported that exists all across Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. And this is clearly, the economic impact and this government's failure to look out for the well-being of Western Canadians is, speaks to their complete lack of respect and the way and their lack of their lack of respect when it comes to our voices and to our livelihoods. And the way in which they're putting above all the interests of corporate agra and rather than Western Canadians in general. So I'll leave it at that, and I don't know if anybody else has anything to add. Any questions?
I might ask. A lot of farmers, I think that no matter what, the Harper government is going to shut down the Wheat Board's monopoly. That they've shown no desire to back off at all. So anything that happens, whether court action or in Parliament, might just slow things down or stop the inevitable happening. Do you think there's any realistic way of actually stopping the government doing what it so clearly wants to do?
Well, the government has, I think, shocked many Canadians in its most latest contempt for the court decision. It's critical to see that the Wheat Board is moving forward with further court action, and Canadians have taken note, that this is a precedent setting, both by what the position the Wheat Board is taking, but also very notably by what Harper is doing. I mean, one thing is to we've seen him shown contempt of Parliament before, but contempt for the courts. I mean, he's taking it to a whole new level, and this kind of governing is this arrogant, undemocratic form of governing is something that Canadians will not put up with. We will continue to fight this decision in the House of Commons, across the prairies and across Canada. That's something that's very important for me as a member of the NDP, but also as an NDP leadership candidate. And we will not rest until we get justice for Western farmers, and we will continue to fight Harper's catastrophic agenda when it comes to prairie farming and the prairie economy.
And the Conservatives and their supporters are trying to blame the board's directors and all the other groups for trying to delay this. They say they're hurting farmers' interests. So they're attempting to put the blame on people who are protecting or defending the board. Do you think the government will be, and its supporters be successful in turning the blame on board and monopoly supporters, or are they going to face the rap if things stay up in the air and there's chaos?
Well, I've heard from so many farmers, and we've raised it in the House of Commons, that there is no hurry. That anything we do needs to be done carefully and needs time. But more than anything, it needs farmers to direct that way and that direction. And that's clearly not what is happening. That's what we're asking for: is farmers be heard before this government take forward its reckless and irresponsible agenda when it comes to the wheat board. And I would say that that a lot of people have seen what we're fighting for here with the directors, but what many people across Western Canada are fighting for is today it's for the wheat board, but tomorrow it's for other collective organizations led by people whose livelihoods are most affected by them, supply management, other organizations, even like the CBC, where we as Canadians ought to have a say in their future. And this government is, time and time again turning around and shutting down debate, and most recently disrespecting the courts. And that's the kind of arrogance that I think Canadians will be are already shocked to hear about, and certainly will continue to build. And if I can say, I mean, the way in which they've conducted the debate in the House of Commons really speaks to the fact that they don't feel comfortable hearing opposition in the House. Whether it's limiting the time at committee or quite frankly in the House, it clearly speaks to the fact that they don't want to hear opposing voices, because they know that there are many opposing voices, and they know that opposing voices from the part of the country where they elect a serious majority is problematic to their political future.